Hello, everyone. Today we're going to learn another 10 common idioms, phrases, and sentences that native English speakers use every single day. These expressions are super useful, and I promise by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what these expressions mean and how to use them naturally in your own conversations. Here's how you can get the most out of this video. First, listen while reading the subtitles. This will help you catch every word and follow along more easily. Then, play the video again and try to repeat the sentences out loud, but this time without reading the subtitles. This will really help you improve your pronunciation, listening, and speaking skills. Don't forget to pause and write down any new idioms or phrases you like. That way, you can remember and review them later. This is a great way to boost your listening, reading, and speaking, all at the same time. This lesson is a fun and simple way to improve your English step by step. Before we dive in, if you're finding this helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps a ton, and I really appreciate your support. All right, let's get started with our first expression. Number 1, a watched pot never boils. This is a really interesting idiom that native speakers use all the time. It means that when you're waiting for something to happen and you're constantly watching or thinking about it, time seems to go by so slowly. It feels like forever. The idea comes from cooking. You know when you put water in a pot on the stove and you're waiting for it to boil. If you just stand there and stare at it, it feels like it's taking hours and hours, even though it's probably only a few minutes. I remember when I was younger, my grandmother used to say this to me all the time. I would be so excited about something, like waiting for my birthday party or waiting for Christmas morning, and I would keep asking her, "Is it time yet? Is it time yet?" And she would smile and say, "Honey, a watched pot never boils. Go play, and before you know it, it'll be time." She was so wise. She knew that if I kept thinking about it and waiting and watching the clock, time would feel like it was moving super slowly. For example, you might say, "I keep checking my phone to see if my job interview results came back, but a watched pot never boils. I need to distract myself with something else." Here's another one. My friend keeps staring at her oven waiting for the cookies to bake, but I told her a watched pot never boils. She should just watch a movie instead. People often say, "Stop checking the mail every 5 minutes for your acceptance letter." A watched pot never boils. Have you ever experienced this? When you're waiting for something really important and time just crawls by? Let me know in the comments if you felt this way before. Number 2, raining cats and dogs. Oh, this idiom is so fun. It means it's raining very, very hard, like really heavy rain. We don't actually mean that cats and dogs are falling from the sky. That would be crazy and impossible. It's just a colorful way to describe super heavy rain. Nobody really knows exactly where this expression comes from, but people have been using it for hundreds of years. Some people think it might come from old times when houses had straw roofs, and sometimes small animals would hide up there and fall down during storms. But honestly, we're not totally sure. What we do know is that it's a very common way to describe really intense rain. I'll never forget this one day last summer. I was walking to the grocery store, and the weather looked a little cloudy, but nothing too serious. I thought, oh, I don't need an umbrella. Well, about halfway there, the sky just opened up. For example, I called my sister and said, "I can't believe I got caught in this weather. It's raining cats and dogs out here, and I'm completely soaked." You might hear something like, "We were planning to have a picnic today, but it's raining cats and dogs, so we'll have to stay inside." Let's take this one. The baseball game got canceled because it was raining cats and dogs. Do you have a similar expression in your language for heavy rain? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Number 3, spill the beans. This phrase is so useful in everyday conversation. It means to tell a secret or to reveal information that was supposed to be kept private. When someone spills the beans, they're sharing something they probably weren't supposed to share. The phrase comes from ancient Greece, believe it or not. A long, long time ago, they used to vote by putting beans in jars. Black beans meant no and white beans meant yes. Sometimes, someone would accidentally knock over the jar and spill all the beans, and then everyone could see how people had voted. The secret vote wasn't secret anymore. I have a funny story about this. My little cousin was planning a surprise birthday party for his mom, my aunt. We all knew about it, and we kept telling him, "Don't tell your mom, it's a surprise." But you know how excited kids get. The day before the party, he was so excited that he ran up to his mom and said, "Mom, I can't wait for your surprise party tomorrow. We got you a chocolate cake and balloons and everything." He totally spilled the beans. We all started laughing because he was just so cute and excited. For example, you might say, "I wasn't supposed to tell anyone about the promotion, but I accidentally spilled the beans to my husband." Here's another one. Sarah spilled the beans about the surprise vacation when she mentioned packing her suitcase. People often say, "Don't spill the beans about the engagement." They want to announce it themselves. Have you ever spilled the beans about something? Or has someone spilled the beans to you? Share your story in the comments. Number 4, you're so down to earth. This is such a nice expression to use when you want to compliment someone. When we say someone is down to earth, we mean they're very practical, realistic, and humble. They don't act like they're better than other people. They're genuine and easy to talk to. It's definitely a compliment. Think about it this way. If someone has their feet on the ground, they're stable and realistic. They're not floating up in the clouds with unrealistic dreams or acting superior to everyone else. Down-to-earth people are the kind of people you feel comfortable around. They don't put on an act or try to impress everyone. They're just real and authentic. I have a friend named Jessica who is the perfect example of someone down to earth. She's actually quite successful. She has a great job, a beautiful house, and she's accomplished a lot in her life. But when you talk to her, she never brags about it. She asks about your life, she listens carefully, and she treats everyone with kindness and respect. Whether she's talking to her boss or talking to the teenager who works at the coffee shop, she treats everyone the same way. That's what being down to earth is all about. For example, you might say, "I love spending time with Mark. He's so successful but so down to earth. He never makes me feel like I'm not good enough." You might hear something like, "Even though she's famous, she's incredibly down to earth and normal when you meet her in person." Imagine this. "My new neighbor is really down to earth. She brought over cookies and introduced herself to everyone on the street." Do you know someone who's really down to earth? What makes them special to you? Let me know in the comments. Number 5. In the blink of an eye. This expression is perfect for describing how fast something happens. It means something occurred very quickly, almost instantly. You know how fast you blink your eyes? It happens so fast you barely notice it. That's exactly what this expression is describing. We use this when we want to emphasize that something happened much faster than we expected. It could be something good or something not so good, but the main idea is that it was super quick and maybe even surprising because of how fast it was. I'll tell you a story that really shows what this means. My nephew learned to walk when he was about 1 year old. For months and months, he was crawling everywhere. We were all waiting and watching for his first steps. Then one day, my sister called me and she was so excited. She said, "You're not going to believe this. Yesterday he was crawling, and today he just stood up and walked across the living room like he'd been doing it forever." In the blink of an eye, he went from crawling to walking. It was amazing how quickly it happened. For example, you could say, "I was driving carefully, but in the blink of an eye, a deer ran across the road and I had to stop suddenly." Here's another one. "She was fine this morning, but in the blink of an eye, she got sick and had to go home from work." Let's take this one. "In the blink of an eye, my little baby became a teenager." Time goes by so fast. Have you experienced something that changed in the blink of an eye? I'd love to hear your story in the comments below. Number 6, pop the hood. Now this phrase is a little different from the others because it's more specific to cars and mechanical things. When you pop the hood, you're opening the hood of a car to look at the engine. The hood is the part of the car that covers the engine in the front, and pop just means to open it quickly. But we also use this phrase in a more general way sometimes. It can mean to look inside something or to investigate what's really going on. Like if someone says, "Let's pop the hood on this problem," they mean, let's look deeper and figure out what's really causing this issue. I remember when I first got my driver's license, I knew absolutely nothing about cars. One day, my car started making a weird noise, and I was so worried. I called my dad and he said, "Don't panic. Just pop the hood and let's take a look." I had no idea how to do that. He had to explain to me that there's usually a little lever inside the car that you pull, and then you go to the front of the car and lift up the hood. He taught me some basic things about the engine that day. It was really helpful. For example, you might say, "My car is overheating. I need to pop the hood and check if there's enough coolant in there." You might hear something like, "The mechanic popped the hood and immediately saw what the problem was." People often say, "Before you buy a used car, always pop the hood and take a look at the engine." Do you know much about cars? Have you ever had to pop the hood to check something? Share your experience in the comments. Number 7, I'm serious. This is such a simple but important expression that we use constantly in English. When someone says, "I'm serious," they want you to know that they're not joking around. They really mean what they're saying. Sometimes people use this when others might think they're kidding, but they want to make it clear that they're being completely honest. We use this phrase in so many different situations. Sometimes it's about something important and serious, and sometimes it's about smaller things. The key is that the person wants you to believe them and take them seriously. Here's a perfect example from my own life. Last month, my friend Emma told me she was thinking about quitting her job to start her own business. At first, I thought she was just daydreaming out loud, you know. People say things like that sometimes when they're having a bad day at work. But then she looked at me and said, "No, I'm serious. I've been planning this for 6 months. I already have 3 clients lined up, and I've saved enough money to live on for a year." When she said, "I'm serious," I realized she wasn't just complaining about work. She had a real plan. For example, you might say, "I know it sounds crazy, but I'm serious. I really want to learn 5 languages before I turn 30. Here's another one. "I'm serious about losing weight this year. I already joined a gym and hired a personal trainer." You might hear something like, "Are you serious? You actually met a celebrity at the coffee shop." Have you ever had to convince someone that you were serious about something? What was it? Let me know in the comments. Number 8, once in a blue moon. This idiom is so beautiful and poetic. It means something that happens very rarely, almost never. It's like saying hardly ever or very seldom. The interesting thing is that a blue moon is a real thing. It's when there are two full moons in the same month, which doesn't happen very often. That's where the expression comes from. We use this when we want to emphasize that something is really unusual or doesn't happen very much. It's not something you can count on happening regularly. It might happen, but don't expect it. My grandpa used to use this expression all the time. He would say things like, "Your grandmother cooks my favorite chocolate cake once in a blue moon, so when she does, it's extra special." Or he'd say, "I go fishing with my buddies once in a blue moon, but when I do, I have the best time." He was such a character. He made everything sound so special and rare with the way he talked. For example, you could say, "I eat fast food once in a blue moon, but today I really wanted a hamburger." Let's take this one. "My teenage son cleans his room once in a blue moon, so I was shocked when I saw it was spotless yesterday." People often say, "We go to fancy restaurants once in a blue moon because they're so expensive." Is there something you do once in a blue moon? Maybe something special that you save for rare occasions? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Number 9. I'm new here. This is such a practical expression that you'll probably need to use if you ever move somewhere new or start a new job or school. It simply means you recently arrived at a place or started doing something, and you don't know much about it yet. People are usually very understanding and helpful when you tell them you're new. It's a great phrase to use because it explains why you might not know something, and it often makes people want to help you. Most people remember what it was like when they were new somewhere, so they're usually pretty kind and patient. I'll never forget my first day at a new job a few years ago. I was so nervous. I walked into this big office building, and I had no idea where I was supposed to go. I went to the front desk and said to the receptionist, "Hi, I'm new here. Today is my first day, and I'm looking for the marketing department." She was so sweet. She not only gave me directions, but she also walked me there personally and introduced me to a few people. She even told me where the best coffee machine was located. Being honest about being new really helped me that day. For example, you might say, "I'm new here, so I don't know where the best grocery store is yet. Do you have any recommendations?" You might hear something like, "Don't worry about making that mistake. You're new here and everyone has to learn." Here's another one. "I'm new here, so I'm still figuring out how things work around this office." Have you ever been the new person somewhere? How did people treat you? Or have you helped someone who was new? Share your story in the comments. Number 10. Believe in yourself. This is probably one of the most important expressions in the English language. It means to have confidence in your own abilities and trust that you can do something. When we believe in ourselves, we think we can succeed, even when things get difficult or challenging. This isn't just an expression. It's actually advice that can change your life. When you believe in yourself, you're more likely to try new things, take healthy risks, and keep going even when things get tough. It's about having faith in your own potential and abilities. I want to share something personal with you. When I was in college, I was really struggling with my math classes. I kept telling myself, "I'm just not a math person. I'll never be good at this." But then my professor pulled me aside one day and said, "You need to believe in yourself. I see you working hard and I know you can do this. Stop telling yourself you can't." Those words changed everything for me. I started believing that I could improve, and guess what? I did. I ended up getting a B in that class, which might not sound amazing to you, but for me, it was huge. For example, you might say to a friend, "I know this job interview is scary, but believe in yourself." You're smart and qualified. You might hear something like, "The most important thing my parents taught me was to believe in yourself, no matter what other people say." Let's take this one. She finally decided to start her own business because she learned to believe in herself. What's something you need to believe in yourself about? Maybe learning English, maybe starting a new hobby. I believe in you, and I hope you believe in yourself too. Let me know in the comments what you're working on believing in yourself about. Let's recap what we learned today. We covered 10 amazing expressions that native English speakers use all the time. We learned that "a watched pot never boils" means time goes slowly when you're waiting for something. Raining cats and dogs means it's raining really hard. Spill the beans means to tell a secret. You're so down to earth is a compliment, meaning someone is humble and genuine. In the blink of an eye means something happened very quickly. Pop the hood means to open a car hood or investigate something deeper. I'm serious means you're not joking around. Once in a blue moon means something happens very rarely. I'm new here is what you say when you've recently arrived somewhere. And finally, believe in yourself means to have confidence in your own abilities. These expressions are going to make your English sound so much more natural and native-like. Remember, the best way to learn these is to practice using them in your own conversations. Try to use one or two of them this week and see how it feels. Before you go, please don't forget to hit that like button if this video helped you, and subscribe for more English lessons like this one. Tomorrow I'll be back with 10 more amazing idioms, phrases, and sentences that will take your English to the next level. Which one of these 10 expressions was your favorite today? And which one do you think you'll use first in your own conversations? I really want to know, so please leave a comment and tell me. Take care and keep practicing your English. You're doing amazing, and I'm so proud of how hard you're working to improve. I'll see you in tomorrow's video with 10 more incredible expressions. Until then, remember to believe in yourself. You've got this.